Growing up in Ghana was really a beautiful childhood, a very simple one. I consider myself a Lebanese Ghanaian. I went to school here and I am now part of that diaspora because I left for university. I worked and then I came back. I came back to Ghana in 2011 because I felt that I wanted a better childhood for my two kids. Okay, so my name is Lana. I am one of the founders of the Coffee House. Alongside my husband. This is a project that has been on our minds ever since we met 20-something years ago. But we always thought it was going to be our retirement project. But it kind of just came into being. Sometimes things happen and the process flows and you just follow it and give it all you have. So yeah, this is my first hospitality experience. My husband worked in the food industry, so he has a bit more experience in that, but I am more into community building. So Thea is a combination of food and community. So my grandfather came to Ghana in the early 1900s. The Lebanese community in Ghana had been growing since the late 1800s. They were going to America from the coast of Lebanon, and they got dropped off in Cape Coast, and so the community started growing from there. My grandfather joined his brothers in Ghana. So I'm the third generation Lebanese in Ghana. I consider myself a bit of both, a bit of a lot of things, but mainly Lebanese Ghanaian. I went to school here and I am now part of that diaspora because I left for university. I worked and then I came back, brought my family back because I wanted them to listen to the birds singing in the background. And Thea is basically that. It's a culmination of wanting to experience Ghana and nature and be able to live in a space that is serene and that gives you that feeling that you want to be creative. So we host a lot of creatives. Growing up in Ghana was really a beautiful childhood, a very simple one. It was a small community. I went to an international school, but I lived in other places as well, but I mean predominantly my high school years were in Ghana. And I think that really shaped me. Being in nature has shaped me, appreciating nature. We've always had pets in our house. I think Ghana means more to me, I think, than other places because, of course, when a place shapes you, it doesn't shake off you easily. What I really lamented, though, was the modern Ghana lost the simplicity. I don't know if you have that in Kenya or in other places around the world, but there is that it's kind of like a loss of innocence because with urbanization comes other things. And then the distances became bigger. So I wanted a place where you could come and spend the day and skip traffic and feel that this is like your backyard and you can stay as long as you like. So I came back to Ghana in 2011 because I felt that I wanted a better childhood for my two kids. And the situation in the Middle East at the time was very, as usual, I mean, there's always conflict, it's a cycle, but it was too much for me to bear as a mother. Maybe if I didn't have children, I would have been a bit more, flexible with that, but it was not easy. And I was also working as a journalist, and then I was working for the UN, and I was working in peace building. So that was really an interesting, I'll never forget that experience. It's not a book, it's not peace building in the books. This is reality on the ground, talking to human beings who have their own perceptions and ideologies, and it wasn't easy. I loved it. This is really the best period of my life, but it's also something that I needed to say, right now we need to go and focus on the family, and Ghana was the perfect place to come back to. And this sanctuary is basically based on that. It's a place with four walls where you feel safe. There was a gap in the market. I found that there wasn't a place that I could go to that gave me that sense of serenity, and there was no place that was a sanctuary. It was either restaurants where you would go for dinner or lunch and just eat. And there was, of course, the cafes, which were the more commercial cafes where you just grab a coffee. The seating isn't comfortable. There isn't an outdoor space, or if there's an outdoor space, it's on the road in traffic, listening to the sounds of beeping cars. So, and also there was an element, a major element lacking, which is the fact that there was not one place where you merged art with food. And in our travels, everywhere we go, in every cafe capital in Europe, there's always a cafe that has that vibe, where you can go and have a coffee and learn a bit about the culture of the place you're in. Or the cafe itself is history. Cafes in Prague, in Vienna, in London, in Paris, there's always a history. But yet I found that maybe because cafe culture wasn't really part of Ghanaian culture, it was always you'd go to the chop bar. That's the equivalent of cafes. Because it was a meeting place, it's where you play awari, it's where you meet your friends, it's where you show off your cooking talents if it's your job spot. But there was nothing here that really reflected that. And also I was always lamenting to my husband that this isn't Ghana. I need everyone to know how special Ghana is. So that reflection comes out in our baking and our food. Our baking, because everything that we do is we use local ingredients. I didn't want it to be a Parisian style cafe. I wanted to be a tart like I just gave you, that is made by a local chef, not frozen. Just to let you know that most cafes around the world, not just in Accra, they buy frozen desserts because it's easier, it's cheaper to make. You don't have the wastage that you do when it's fresh. So that was something that we really wanted to do. And plus, we were at an age, both of us, that we wanted to live more healthy. So live more healthy means eat more fresh items. So we brought together a team, Ghanaian team, chefs, baristas, and we're learning together. I always tell people that when they ask me, even with the garden, they say, "Oh, who does your garden?" And I say, it's all a learning process. So we were lucky to have the outdoor space that saved us. And business has been, it's an organic process. We knew that from the beginning. We don't have investors. We do our own social media management. We take our own photos. We do our own recipes. We never had a consultant to come in and tell us what to do. So even like changing the menu, we do it based on what we think is right and based on what the clients tell us. So it's a very organic process. It's been okay, thankfully, thank God. By God's grace, it's been okay. It is expensive. And being a business owner, I'm a partner with my husband, Ateya, and I'm also a business owner with P4 Pilates, which is a Pilates studio. We have 3 locations in Accra. It's a boutique concept. Pilates is a well-being concept, so it's close to my heart as well. Very difficult to keep up both. You have to really be sure that you're investing in the experience. For me, it's all about that. So even when you come to there, you don't eat maybe fancy food, but you eat food that is good, and we care about the ingredients, and we care about the consistency, and we care about the yard, and we're always painting and doing something. So I think it's all about the experience, but that's not easy to do because it is expensive. Okay, my favorite is red. And then it just has the crunchiness, with the pepperiness, with the beans, I love it. Fufu, but I like groundnut soup. And honestly, after COVID, we've stopped eating the pounded fufu, but I don't like the powdered fufu, so we're going for the omoto, which I love, and it's so healthy because it's boiled rice basically. I don't eat fish and I don't eat goat meat. So there are other things that I don't go, close to. But yeah, and I like. Not many people know this dish. It's boiled yam with corned beef. Have you had it? Amazing. Boiled yam with corned beef and egg on top. I keep saying we have to do it here as one of our meals. So I'm going to actually push that, because I've been talking about it for such a long time. It's the best. One of my child, and so easy to make. And Ghana's food, I believe that we have been saved by the healthy eating lifestyle that we have in West Africa, in Ghana especially. They always say palm oil causes I don't know what, sorry, but we were fine during COVID. Everybody eats palm oil. But we also eat a lot of fresh fruits. There isn't a lot of frozen stuff, processed stuff. You try to avoid the turkeys and the beef. At the beginning, we didn't even have turkey or bacon on our menu because we didn't want anything processed. But sometimes you have to be a bit flexible. It took us a year and a half to listen, and people said we can't have an American breakfast without bacon or pepperoni. We can't. So we gave into that, but we try not to fry as much as possible. So we try to bake as much as possible everything else.
Yeah. What are your top Ghanaian destinations? What are some of those places you just go to unwind?
Definitely number one is Pram Pram. This is because we have a family house, a beach house that has been turned into a resort. So that is my childhood. It's always been my childhood. My memories are there. I like the beach. I think Ghana has beautiful beaches. Unfortunately, pollution has damaged a lot of that reputation. But now I think people are more conscious and more green. I see that the beaches are a bit cleaner in Pram Pram.